And here we go. We are live. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Nacho. Today we have Nacho Iacovino. Can you hear me? And also, please tell me if you can hear me in the chat. Welcome, everyone. We have Zuricher, as usual. He is always the first one. So today we will talk with Nacho Iacovino. He is from Argentina, but now he lives in Spain. He is mostly a front-end developer, but of course he knows a lot of stuff. He is also a developer advocate, and this topic today is how to become a better developer. So I think this is a topic that could interest everyone, including me, of course. Yeah, let me see. Hi, Scimmiettina. Yeah, Zwicker is always perfect. Thank you. Zwicker is the best one for audio tests. Yeah, can you hear me, Nacho?
Yeah, I can hear you. Very nice.
Perfect. So, how are you? How has been your day? Yeah, and can you introduce also a bit yourself? Let's wait a couple of minutes, then we start with some questions. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. My day has been going nice. I've been working a little bit in the morning. Now just ate, and now just looking forward to talk with you, discuss with you, and just share a little bit of my experience in tech and what brought me to this moment.
Perfect. And first of all, let me thank you really from the bottom of my heart, because you accepted this like 2 days ago. So it was something scheduled really super fast. You said yes. It really made me happy. So I'm already happy about that. So thank you so much for accepting this invitation. It's a pleasure, of course.
I mean, I was looking forward to chat with you. I was talking about this before, but I follow you for like, I don't know, maybe a little less than a year now. But you follow me, but I wasn't posting anything, so I was just following people. And then when I started posting back in December, like regularly, consistently, that's when you follow me, and it's like I remember saying, "Hey, Francesco, if you ever need someone, hit me up," and you did 5 months later. So that's exciting.
Perfect. I think it was around Christmas, 21st of December. So it was around that. I remember that there was a comment like about YouTube channel, so we can talk about this also.
Yeah,
because I've seen that. It's strange that sometimes, the time really flies. So Nacho, let's start from the beginning, because we don't really know each other. I don't know all your story. So maybe it's better if you introduce yourself just a little bit.
Okay, I'll do it like a job interview, talking about my whole journey. But yeah, for me, my first time I wrote my first line of code, I didn't even know it was code. I think this happened to a lot of people. I mean, and I think I don't even remember my first line of code, because maybe I was like 9 or 10 years old. So the first thing I ever did something related to web development was I was playing a lot of Hotel when I was 8, 9 years old, and I remember doing fan pages with my cousin. And we were doing fan pages about Hotel, Spain. We were kind of doing that, and that was the first time. I mean, I had a website live. It's like, okay, how fan.tk, and that was the website, right? And that was super fun, and that was the first thing I ever did. And when I was that age, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, oh, I have a website live. I have like a website builder, and I do kind of stuff. I modify some colors, and that's basically it, right? But then when I was around 14, I created a Tumblr. A Tumblr it's like a blog. It's like a WordPress. Like it has a lot of similarities to Twitter. You have the reblogs instead of the retweets and stuff like that, and you can reshare posts from another Tumblrs and stuff like that. So yeah, same thing. I was following some Tumblrs. I was like, oh, let me just share content, right? And it was yeah, it was in Spanish. It was very comedy related, and I found pretty good success with that. I was the second biggest Tumblr in Spain at the time, so I had 14,000 followers in that Tumblr. So it's very funny, and I was going to tweet about this this week about that. I have 11,000 followers now on Twitter, 11, but it's still not the biggest following I ever had, right? It's the biggest following I ever had with my name attached to it, right? But I had that page which was like comedy related, but it was my comedy, it was my humor, whatever I found funny or whatever, and in that place I had 40,000 followers, and also that this was the time I ever did my first dollar on the internet. So
nice.
I was just doing just some ads on the page, just or some other Tumblrs that want the promo, just putting them on my page. And then when I started modifying the look of the page, that's when I first started doing HTML in the like it was HTML4 at the time. I remember using center tags and just stuff like that. That was working. That was the way to do it before, right? And yeah, that's when I started just doing HTML and same thing. I didn't even know that was HTML. I was like, oh, how to modify my page in Tumblr? Oh, and now I find some tutorials and then I modify it. And yeah, I was 14 there. I did it like for a couple of years, and then I stopped working on that page because I moved to doing some WordPress stuff when I was like 16 or something like that. And I was doing Facebook ads, not Facebook ads, but yeah, I was working with Facebook pages. So yeah, that's when I started learning a little bit about WordPress, a little bit. I mean, basic PHP, but not really because I don't remember anything. It's like almost has been 10 years ago. But yeah, I had a couple of WordPress sites. I was just doing posts that I wanted them to go viral, just get traffic, a little bit SEO, but very basic stuff. And around that time, maybe when I started, hey, let me just take a look at JavaScript, for example, because I was like, oh, I know HTML, CSS. And when I started doing JavaScript, like when I was 18, 19, it's like I tried to start like 3 times. And this is something that I talk about on Twitter. It's like I encourage people to not give up because I consider myself a pretty decent developer now. And even that right now I am, it was very hard for me to start.
Exactly.
I started, okay, variables, good, let's go, perfect. Okay, loops, oh, wow, how does this work? And sometimes it gets pretty complicated. Like even how a function works, it's very abstract if you have never done something similar to that in the past, right? So, and I quit like twice. And then I was, third time I was doing a little more, but not really. I have worked very different types of jobs in the middle. I have worked like a tourism agent. I have worked as a waiter, room service waiter in 5-star hotels, just bringing people's food to their rooms at 5 in the morning. So yeah, I have done different jobs. And then the last job I did before I started coding for real was that I studied to be an English teacher. So I got a certification from Cambridge to teach English. But when I finished that course, and I have like, oh, now I can teach in academies. Now I can give private classes, private lessons. I realized I didn't enjoy that as much. I enjoyed the teaching part. I enjoyed the English part, but I didn't enjoy the preparation of, okay, let me just prepare a class for an hour and then give the class for an hour, but you only get paid for the class and not the preparation. And then you have to move from one academy to another academy. And then, okay, now private lessons on the other part of the city. So it was very build your own schedule, but just move around all the time. And I didn't like that much. So yeah, in 2019, I had to make the biggest decision of my life, which was like suddenly I received a call and I was like, hey, because I signed up for youth courses and stuff like that. So yeah, courses that the government gives for free to young people to motivate new career paths and stuff like that. So I received a call, hey, are you interested in a programming course? It's like, oh, is it free? And yeah, it's free. It's like a 6-month course for free. And it's like, and just the same week, my father had offered me like a beer salesman position for his company, because my father, he's like a manager of he sells beer and for different bars and restaurants and all that stuff. Because like, hey, do you want to work with us? And I knew I was good at sales because I used to do tourism sales and I was good at that. But I was like, okay, I can do a job that I know I'm going to be decent at, but I can go and pursue that course, free course about programming, which is something I always been interested in, but I had never really dived deep into it, right? So I decided to just go with my gut and just do the programming course. And this was like a little more than 2 years ago. And yeah, so the course, it wasn't like a bootcamp, because on a bootcamp you usually have like some requirements, maybe like, oh, you need to know JavaScript, you need to know a little bit how everything works. There is like, it was like a free, it was open to everyone, so it was open to everyone. So there were people that they were very good and they were catching up. So a lot of people left the course at the start. So all that stuff. I realized that it came pretty easy to me at that moment. So yeah, so it was very fun. I started to enjoy it a lot. I was like, oh, we're doing HTML, and I was already in CSS. We're doing CSS, and I was already starting JavaScript. And then we did React there, and I was always one step ahead of the class. I was like, oh, this is something I'm really enjoying right now, and it was good because they taught us React, they taught us Redux, and then I did some Android with Java, and then C# with Unity. So a little bit of that. When I finished the course, I was like, okay, what did I enjoy the most out of all of that? And I said, okay, I'm going to just focus on React because it's the biggest market. I already learned it a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to go all in. And I think for me, that course wasn't for me, it was a door, right? It wasn't like it teach me something that was enough for me to get a job, because not really. It was like very basic. But for me, it was the door to just go ahead and learn by myself, because I 99% of what I learned was by myself, not from the course. But it was a door.
Nice, very nice. I like this analogy.
Yeah, illusive code. I got my first dev job. So I was 24. 24. So I started going at 23 for real at this course. It was 2 years ago. I'm 25 right now. And I was going to get on my first dev job. So when I finished the course, like summer 2019, something like that, I was like, okay, now I'm just going to focus and just do courses and courses and courses. And just like, okay, go to Udemy, find a course, React course, find a web development course, find a MERN course, React classes, React hooks, all that stuff. So I was doing a lot of courses, a lot of projects.
It's been there. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you just need to put the time. And that moment, and I was very lucky. And I say that I say this a lot. I was very lucky. I was living with my parents. I didn't have any expenses, so I had the ability to put 4-6 hours a day. And I know not everyone has that privilege of having the ability to just put the hours, because they don't have any. I mean, if you have kids, if you have to pay rent, it's a lot harder to just say, okay, I'm going to just code for 6 hours a day. But I had that ability, and I could do that, and that's what I did. And I just put all my time into it. I just learned, and I learned for like 6 months, like every day, just coding a lot. And then on March 2020 or February 2020, I got offered a position of it was kind of an internship. It was like, okay, come work with us for like 2 months, like as an internship, and then we'll sign up. We'll offer you a job. This was good but bad at the same time. Let me explain why. So I was like, okay, this is not the best offer that I could have gotten, because I'm getting very little money, because it's like an internship. But at the same time, it's like, oh, this is my first dev job, right? And also it was with Angular, which I didn't know. It's like, okay, I don't know Angular. They're giving me the chance to learn Angular here. I'm just gonna take it, and in 2 months I'm gonna have my job. Well, this company, I don't know what the intention was, but after 2 months, instead of like 2.5 months, instead of hiring me, they fired me. So I never got that. I mean, I got my first job, but it wasn't really. So it was very annoying to just like putting the trust in the company. Oh, they're gonna hire me now, and they didn't. But the good thing that they gave me, it was like experience with Angular, and just 3 weeks after that job, I got another job with Angular. And that was my proper job. And yeah, it was also a startup as the same as like the first company. And this company, I learned a lot. I was the only front-end developer, which usually when you start, it's not the best thing because it's good to have ability to learn from someone else, but also it gives you a lot of just bust your head, figure it out by yourself because you have no one else to ask. So I was doing a lot of that, just figuring out by myself, and that makes you grow a lot also, because just like you have to do something and then you have to find a way about doing it. So it's like I was doing Angular, I was doing Ionic, I did the mobile app for the
use that a little bit. Yeah.
For the company. Hey Simon, how are you doing?
Oh, let me show some comments because we have some people. There are a lot of compliments for you. People say we should get higher followers. So of course, I think he was 10,000 when I asked him, and now he's 11,000 already.
Yeah, I'm 11,400 right now. So it's going good. And it's crazy. Like I've been growing like 120, 150 followers a day for the last week. And I posted a tweet about, I think it's because the new Twitter feature that they are implemented about when you follow someone, before it will give you suggested follows and you have to click follow on each of them, but now it gives you accounts that work with this account, and it's like 17 accounts, follow all. This is one click, and I think a lot of people are clicking that, and I think I'm getting followers that way right now.
I think everyone is getting followers, but in this case, I think it's even more important than to focus on stronger connection and not just on numbers. But
it's been super interesting just seeing like, okay, now I don't know if it's just like people are liking me more or there's people are using this feature a lot. So
why not both?
I'm gonna be positive about it. But yeah, and I hope the people that decide to follow me that way, because it's different, because they are not checking you out. They're just following you, and they maybe don't even know about you, right? Just follow out because I'm interested in tech accounts. And I used to do that when I joined Twitter. I was like, oh, accounts I recommend. Okay, let me follow all. And maybe I didn't even look at them because I just want people to follow. And I think people are also doing that. But the thing is, then you have to give them something to stay, right, and like you, because if they didn't click that follow button, like looking at your profile and just deciding to click it, when they see you on their on their homepage, you have to give them a reason to stay and not just click the unfollow button, right?
Exactly. I think let's start with some questions, because I think we have there's also Simon. At what age you got your first dev job?
Yeah, I answered that to Elusive. I was 24. He said like he's 22 now. He said, how much do you feel you knew about web development? That question. Yeah, perfect.
How much do you feel you knew about? I think this is important, because I think that we are never ready to apply. So we need to decide one day, okay, let's apply.
Yeah. So I think it's important to not just say, oh, I need to know everything. I need to know React. I need to know Vue. I need to know backend, frontend, all that stuff before applying. Because even if I did my first React interview back in November 2019, when I had a couple of months of React experience, and even if I didn't get that job, it still taught me how interviews work. It made me more confident about going to an interview, and it was like, oh, I would have got a job if I would be more experienced. But okay, I would try to be more experienced. And then maybe they ask you some questions. Okay, what is the use state hook? And maybe you're like, oh, I don't know, I haven't used hooks. Okay, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna learn that. And then from the next interview that someone else asked me this same question, I'm gonna be able to answer it. So you get a lot of that experience, and you can read a lot about okay, what interview questions and stuff like that. But it's going to be very different depending on where you're from, and because they're going to be different necessities if you're from Barcelona, from Nigeria, from the US. So going to interviews with and just trying out and see what questions do they ask you. It's going to give you a lot of experience to go to the next ones more prepared and knowing what skills are you lacking that companies are looking for.
Exactly. Perfect. And I think this is already a great advice, because you will never get really ready for interviews. But interviews, it's not only about always the same questions. It's also about the process of interview. So, for example, what you need, what do you need from this company? You can also make questions about the company.
Yeah.
So
This is
get
important.
used to that.
Yeah, like some people think that interviews are just like you're like there and they're just throwing questions at you and you're like answering them all, and that's not like that. I mean, you have to choose. You have to also choose the company, and it's very hard when you're like, oh, this is my first day job. I just want someone to give me a chance. Yeah, but if you get a chance from a company that's going to be bad and toxic for you, and maybe it's the best to just wait it out. I mean, for my current job, I think I hit a very good opportunity. I'm super happy so far. I mean, we're going to talk about that later. But yeah, I got some offers before, like a couple of weeks before that I decided not to take because I didn't think they were right for me. And if I would have taken them, I would have not got my current job because I would have been already working on another company. Exactly. So don't say, oh, I need this job. I need a job, even if this company doesn't sound right. And it's not perfect, and it's not what I'm looking for. I'm gonna go there because maybe if you just keep working, and you're gonna get something that you're gonna be happy about. Yeah. And sometimes you don't have that option, and this comes from what I said before. Maybe you need to pay rent. It's like, okay, let me get this one, and then in 6 months I'm gonna just try and look for something else, and that works too. But you don't kill yourself like oh, I lost that job, and this is now this was the best position I could ever gotten, because it's not true. Like, if you keep working, you're gonna get and hit better positions.
Yeah, I can say this. I don't know. Maybe someone already knew this. I've been rejected from an interview because I didn't remember some SQL commands. Okay, yeah. And after 2 months, I was working for the European Space Agency. So to be rejected from an interview, this has been one of the luckiest days of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have some questions from Simon. Simon, I think Simon is Denmark. Is that right? Simon. I've been following since you were still small. I don't know what's the number of small. Let's talk about. Let's say that.
It was like 2,000 followers. Like maybe less than that.
Let's say that big is when you need to hover over your number of followers to check the number. Do you know what suddenly changed? Because I also seen this spike of people following you. I think sometimes it's like a trend. So if you start getting a lot of followers, it is also happened to me.
Yeah, momentum.
You get like, I don't know, like 1,000 per day. Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, the maximum I have gotten in a day, it's 500. So that's my record for a day. But yeah, usually now for the last couple of weeks I've been getting like 100 a day, something like that, 120. And what I've been very lucky. And Simon and I said this to Simon a couple of weeks ago when I reached 10,000, and he commented, and I got very big followings from the start. So very big followings. I mean, you, Simon, Raf Rasenberg, Pratham Prasun. A lot of big accounts, Kyle Prinslow. So a lot of people that I was following for a while, and I was like, oh, this person is amazing. I'm learning a lot from it, like Oliver Jamperts, Ankur Tyagi. So all this stuff, I was like, oh, these people is super amazing. I'm learning a lot from them. And I got a lot of these people follows from from the very start, which I was very lucky. With Simon, what happened was, he was a very big inspiration for me on threads and visual content and visual thumbnails on Twitter. So I did a thread about tutorial help. This was my first proper thread. I was like, I just sent to him and like, Simon, hey, this is what do you think about this, right? And he was like, oh, I love it. I love the thumbnail, and he followed me just because of that thread. Because me sharing with him, I mean, and it wasn't my intention. I just wanted feedback because I didn't even know if what I was doing was right? Because when you're starting and you post something that you maybe work for like an hour and you get 5 likes, you're like, am I doing something wrong, or is the content bad? And you don't even know. Because for me, if I post something now and it gets less likes, I can say, oh, maybe this wasn't so interesting, because people are going to see it anyway because I have followers. But when you don't have followers or not many followers, you don't know if it was your fault or people didn't see it, right? And I have one of my second or my third thread was about acing away promises and callbacks, and that took me like 2 hours to write, and it didn't get much traction. But also, it was Simon just posted a week later about the same topic, and I just commented, "Hey, I just wrote about this last week," and that response brought me like 50 more likes to the original post. Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, it was actually a good post. It's just I didn't have any eyes on it, right?" And yeah, so the first couple of months I was getting like 300, 500 followers per month. So it was like 10 followers a day, something like that, which is pretty decent. I was super happy with it. And then on February, I got my big explosion on followers. I got 3,000 in February, coming from 500 in January. And this was because I hit a niche, which was Tailwind. And Tailwind was I was using Tailwind for a lot, and I started to create clones of popular websites. So Instagram, LinkedIn, so a lot of people started being interested in that. And yeah, so I was just creating content, and that worked for a bit. This also I think I shot myself in the foot a little bit there, because I did them too well, and that's I'm being not modest here, but I was doing pixel perfect clones, and then I was like, oh, now if I want to post another one, it needs to be also perfect, because if I don't post it perfectly now, I'm just going down. I'm just putting worse content, and I have more followers now. So it's like having more followers also gives you this pressure of, oh, now I have to do perfect content, and anything I say that it's not perfect, I'm gonna get someone just oh, but this button is 1 pixel down. It's like, okay, sorry.
Wow.
But yeah, and this was a very big month for me. And this was when I announced the course. And I announced the course, for anyone that doesn't know, I was like, I announced the course back in February about Tailwind and React. And this was motivated for me. Like when I started doing Tailwind, I felt that there weren't many resources about it, especially working with React and everything. I think I was like, oh, I think this is something that not many people are talking about. I searched for a Tailwind course on Udemy. There was one course. It's like, okay, this is no one is doing right. So I was like, okay, let me do something nice. But I also suffer a lot from the perfectionism. It's like, oh, if I'm selling something, this is different. If I'm sharing content on Twitter, it can be bad, and people can criticize me because of it. But I can just if it's very bad and if I say something terribly wrong, I could just delete it and post it again. But when you are selling something and you're making people pay for your content, now I feel like, oh, this needs to be perfect. This needs to be the best course ever. And it's like, oh, this is very hard if it's my first course. So I had a lot of that pressure. Also, a couple of
here is the pressure in the comments. There are some speaker is asking you for you've used the Angular, but are you using React for the upcoming Tailwind course? So this has to be released in some ways.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I answered that when I finished my train of thought. So yeah, it's like I lost myself. So I'm gonna answer the question. So I use Angular and I use React now. I was using React before working with Angular, and I always prefer React. And we talked about this on a Twitter space I did like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago about React frameworks. And the thing about Angular is like I don't enjoy it that much working with Angular. So it has some stuff that are pretty nice. I like TypeScript. I like how some of the stuff it's very easy to like internationalization. So just having the ability to have the app in different languages, that's very easy. That comes very easy with Angular, and some packages are very good. Material UI is very integrated and it works very well. And there's some stuff that works very well, but there's also some other stuff that it doesn't. It gets pretty annoying for me. And yeah, so for me, I just like React so much. And then when I started working with Next.js, I was like, oh, Next.js is everything I was missing from Angular. Now Next.js has it, because it's like, okay, internationalization is easier, PostCSS is easier, and like routing is easier. So all that stuff that Angular had over React, in my opinion, Next.js solves it. So now I'm just, if I can't do it, I'm always going to go with Next.js. So yeah, that was my choice. And about the course, I wanted to do, I said React, and the course says React, but it's gonna be React and Next.js, because I still want to teach how to set up Tailwind with React for people that are interested in it, but I want to focus more also on Next.js, because I think right now is the thing everyone is talking about and everyone is interested about.
Perfect. Thank you, Nacho. Nearby is asking, how's it going, everyone? I go first. Today, I love him. Today, this has been a really great day for now. I played a little bit with this new graphic. Maybe you have noticed that. Yeah, just for you, Nacho. So finally, I had some time, to dedicate to this, because I wanted to get more time to this. Now I had to plan this. I have a Twitter space later. What about you, Nacho? About today?
Yeah, no, it was fun. And as I said at the start, I was looking on a new feature for my job. I just and then I'm just reaching out to people, right? Like I'm working as a developer advocate, so one big part.
We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, so I started working as a developer advocate a month ago for a company called Clerk that we focus on user management and auth for React and Next.js. And in the future, maybe more frameworks like Vue or Svelte or similar. But the thing is, one big part of it is like growth and make people know about the product. So this is kind of what I'm doing right now. It's just like, oh, check out Clerk.dev, because it's like if you want to do auth, for me it's the easiest way to do it, and that's one reason I joined the company, right? And that fits what I was talking about before. When I did the interview, I tried the app, and it's like, oh, this is super easy. And I'm used to do auth with Firebase, and auth with Firebase, for people that have tried, it's not very easy, and it's very tedious and it's very complicated. And just having the ability to set it up in 5 minutes for me was crazy. It was like, oh, this is great, and this is something that's game changing for people. So like having the ability to talk about it. Because especially if you work on a company, I think you have to be happy with what you do. And it's like, if someone asks you, hey, what do you do? You have to be, oh, this is great. You're going to love this. Especially if you want to work as a developer advocate, you have to be really confident in your product. Because if you want to sell something to people, I mean, not sell, because like Clerk.dev has a very good free tier, and but just try this product. If you want to say to people, hey, try this, it needs to be good, and you need to believe that it's good. Because you cannot sell something that you don't believe in. I totally
agree with you. Of course, also me, when I collaborate with someone, I need to trust in that product, because otherwise I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're working with on people. So that's amazing.
It's hard to fake 24/7. We can talk about this, because Catalin's talking about this. So plugging stuff in other people's posts. So here he is making a joke. Because, for example, I can say what happened to me. Now I've been doing like a Docker thread once per day. Also this morning, kind of long threads. I work on them for hours. And there are people that are just, they jump in, they link maybe Docker related stuff, but just another article about something else. I think that there is a way to post your content. For example, in your case, for example, you say, okay, this is great. You can compliment with the author of the post, and then add some value with your article, not just sending a link and say, okay, so I'll get some more likes because you will got some. So what happened to you? Because also Simon says that because, for example, Simon agrees with you. So this is a good way to.
It needs to be a balance. So one of the biggest, my and the advice I give to anyone that wants to grow an audience on Twitter is just engage with bigger accounts. So if you just post on your wall on Twitter and just post tweets, no one's gonna see them because no one knows you exist. So you still need to post because when people check your profile, they need to see something that you post.
Of course.
But it's more important at the start to just respond and add value to other people's tweets rather than creating your own content. And for me, like the callbacks easing away, it was perfect because I just had posted about it, and it's like, oh, it's like, oh, this is great, Simon. I also talk about this in a more lengthy way in this thread, and it was relevant. So that's important. It's like, okay, I'm sharing something because it's relevant. I'm not just going to another people's post and talking about React on a best practices thread because that doesn't make sense. And that's where you're gonna get like muted or blocked or stuff like that. But if you're genuine and you're like, oh, this is great, and let me just give more value to it, that's perfect. I think so don't spam. That's the thing. So just have to think about, oh, if someone commented this on my thread, would I be mad? Just ask yourself that. And if you would be, just don't post it. But if you think it fits, it's fine. And also don't try like selling something on every tweet. Like sometimes it's like, oh, just saying congratulations is fine. If someone had a good thing happen to them, or maybe it's something like, hey, this is amazing. Have you tried this other thing? And just create conversation. Because for me, the reason to follow someone or check someone out or tag with someone that I don't follow before on Twitter comes from someone giving me good conversation and good things to think about, or just and about the thing that I said before about me sending the thread to Simon. It also happened to me. Someone sent me a thread and I check it out. I was like, oh, this is super amazing. And you're creating great content. And I follow him and I like his post because I thought it was generally good. And this person had like 300 followers when he sent it to me. And that was 1 month ago, and now he has 5,000 followers. So it was very good content, and he has had an amazing growth. But yeah, if you are genuinely like, oh, what do you think about this? Is it good? And now you have some big account eyes on you, right? So that can help a lot because it helps not talking to the void, which is what I call it when you post and no one sees your tweet. So yeah, just have to think. You have to be very smart about it without being spammy.
Yeah. I think that as you said, common sense is the way to go. So just ask, would you like someone jumping on your profile and saying the same stuff? So that's common sense. I've noticed that T-shirt, and I also love that.
It's a Rick and Morty T-shirt with crossway with ET.
So thank you, Katalin. I've worked more than you can think. You can think of that. I've also worked a bit on lighting because I noticed that I had some problems in lighting, so I had to change this a little bit. And this is a topic of today. I don't know if you ever worked with the cryptocurrencies.
A little bit. I have some money there. I don't want to say on which ones because I don't want to make anyone invest their money and then if they lose, it's my fault. But yeah, I've been not for long. It's like maybe this year. That's how I started getting interested in it. But I still have a lot to learn. So I don't know much about it. I'm just learning. And yeah, I think if you're interested in crypto and blockchain, I think Oliver Champerts is the person to follow. He's posting a lot about these technologies now. And yeah, I think it's super interesting. And I think it's something, if you're a developer, you have to know a little bit about and how it works. Because blockchain, even if it's not crypto, like just the blockchain technology is something it's gonna be on web development like a normal thing very soon. So just I'm trying to be on same topic on that. And I'm interested in just learning blockchain development, like maybe this year or if I have time.
Yeah. I'm also just getting started, so I'm not here to give advice. So it's better to not
no
say
financial
that.
advice. Yeah.
Maybe today has been a good day. A good day. I don't know, but let's see. Yes, certainly. So, Nacho, let's talk about the big topic of today, which is how to become a better developer. Which is maybe it's a huge topic, so we can talk for hours maybe about that. So, but
Yeah.
how can we? Because I've seen on your bio and also about your tweets that you share a lot of stuff also to these improvements. So what can we say about this? Or which are the people that, for example, you send these messages because it's important. This idea of improvement. I come from the sport world, so for me, the improvement, constant improvement, for me is it's really super important.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I share what I would have liked to know when I started, and that's what I phrase my tweets all the time. Like I want to make it the easiest way possible to understand something, and just give motivation to new developers, right? Because it's what I told you before. I quit JavaScript twice, and if I hadn't tried a third time, I would not be here. And some people get stuck in that quick part, and then just go and then they do something else when maybe they would have been a great developers if they have just tried out a little bit more, right? So one thing that I think it's important is being consistent. And as I said, no one has the ability to have 4-6 hours per day to learn to code without earning money. But even if it's like 30 minutes, and it sounds like, it's like 30 minutes. Like it's not that much. It's not much time. Like even if it's like 10 minutes, okay, 10 minutes a day. That's all you can do. Okay, let's just do 10 minutes a day, but do it every day, because if you do 10 minutes every day, it's better than doing 1 hour per week. Because when you could code something for an hour on a Saturday, and then you go back to it on the next Saturday, you're not going to remember what you were doing. So just be consistent. Try to code as much as possible. And also, I shared this a while ago, but for me, I try to find the best way for you to learn, because this is different for everyone. So for me, I like tutorials on video. I like code alongs. So I have having a teacher explain to me something. They code something. I just code it on my machines. I just try it out. This is my way that works better for me. But maybe you work better with text-based tutorials. So maybe you work better with, I don't know, something different, like interactive courses, something like that. So just find the best way of doing it, like the best way that works for you. For me, it's just video tutorials, code alongs. I usually do it like I put up the speed like 1.5x or 175 or 2x.
Yes.
Depending on the topic too. Like maybe if you're talking about, if I have to do a course about Next.js because I already React Native and I already know React, so it's gonna be easier for me to grasp it. So okay, maybe I can go to 2x, and maybe you're teaching me something that I don't know anything about. Maybe I'm going to do it a little bit slower, right? But that's what works for me. I always code along. So anytime there's code on the video, I'm just coding myself. Like for me, it doesn't work just watching the video. That I'm just gonna forget about it the next day. But if I code along, I have that code on my machine. And then for me, it's very important to not follow it verbatim. So to not follow it and not copy it exactly the way that the instructor is doing it. So one way I do it is like, okay, this person is doing this component and this component on React. Okay, I'm going to try doing this other thing, or I'm going to try to change the colors, even if it's just CSS changes. Okay, that's fine. You're changing stuff, because when you're a new developer, you get very scared. Oh, if I change a letter, it's going to break everything. I will not know how to fix it. Okay, yeah, but you need to embrace breaking the app, right? You need to embrace like, oh, this is going to break. It's going to be fine. I'm going to figure out how to fix it, and it's I'm gonna be better for it, right? Someone shared a phrase today on one of my tweets as a response to what I shared yesterday about growing and just failing. But I really like what it says. It's like the next time you code, after you fail, you don't code from scratch. You code from experience. And I love that because yeah, it's like, oh, when you fail, you have failed once, twice. Next time you face the same error, you're gonna know how to fix it, or you face something similar, you're gonna, oh, this is similar to what I did before. Okay, and then the more projects you make, the more code you have to go back to. So I have a project with Firebase. Oh, I need to do Firebase again. I'm not gonna just go from scratch. I'm gonna go from what I did before, and then I'm gonna modify some stuff, and that works. And then you go faster and faster with each project that you make because you have already done stuff similar before. For example, Kenneth Castle, and I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. He's doing an interactive programming course site, and he said like it's his third site. So he started doing a Python course site. Then he did Beam.so, which was like a Beam interactive course, and then from there he did like a marketplace for courses, for people to do their own courses. And he said that every time he did one, the next website, it was easier than the last one because he had all that code to reuse, right, from his latest project. So yeah, so just making our projects, it just helps with being more experienced and also having that old code to grab stuff from.
Yeah, I like this idea of experience. This is exactly our brain works. It works by watching a situation, and so this is why, let's say, like an expert developer, maybe it's an expert who faced a lot of bugs, a lot of errors, a lot of failures. So that's the difference, that you have seen, we have seen different stuff, so you are more prepared maybe. But of course, you still need to Google, of course.
Yeah. That was one tweet I posted like 3 months ago. Like, the best skill you can have as a developer is how to Google, and that was like a kind of funny tweet, but I really believe that, because when you can Google and you can just try stuff, and then you can find the best way of Googling something, and then what results work better. Like, for example, coding related, like anything like Stack Overflow or GitHub issues. That's usually the two places that it's gonna work better for you. And then when you start, I don't know, I just sometimes I finish. If you have a really complicated problem, you're gonna finish like in a Chinese forum. It's like, okay, this is not the only way I can figure out right now. And I think the harder the challenges you have, you're gonna find that. But having the ability to know how to Google and how to find those resources, it's gonna take you very far, because it's, especially when you're starting, it's gonna be impossible to not have someone that had the same problem already. So just if you know how to find it, you can figure out anything, because you're not doing anything new.
Exactly. This could be an exercise, for example, to try to solve some exercise, but yes, trying to look also for the basic stuff. It's super important. Maybe it's more important than the coding itself at the beginning. Illusive Code asks, which code editors or editors do you use, and why?
Yeah, so I started with Sublime. I mean, well, if I say what I started with, I can say Dreamweaver back in 2005. But yeah, that doesn't count that much. So yeah, Dreamweaver, Notepad++, and like first things I did. But like when I started coding for real, I did a little bit of Sublime for a couple of months, and then I just moved to VS Code, and I've been on VS Code ever since. I have used briefly some JetBrains product, and I like JetBrains product for analyzing and refactoring, but I just enjoy VS Code for the most part. That has a lot of extensions, and it usually works for me for everything. But yeah, there are some stuff that so either PyCharm or the IntelliJ IDEA, so all those have better features for depending what code languages, and it can be better if you're doing something very big, like a big refactoring, or you want an analyzing tool to what variables are misspelled, or what variables are not being called, or whatever. So that works better in a JetBrains product.
Let me answer also. I use the JetBrains also, some JetBrains stuff. Yeah, now I also use VS Code, so I think a lot of people use that. It doesn't mean that you need to use that, of course, because editors are just to write write code. We should not be dependent about that. There are people who just use VI or Vim. It's about you. It depends, of course, also what you need to do. But
yeah.
That's. Yeah, it's important. Yeah, it's important, I think, to challenge yourself. So, for example, now I have a question related to what Elusive Code says. What about challenging? So, challenge yourself, because, for example, I love this topic. I like to challenge myself also for videos. I like to do this kind of stuff. So, for example, what's your idea about this? About challenges to improve yourself?
Yeah, I mean, and there's many challenges. I mean, the most famous one related to coding is the 100-day code challenge, 100 days of code, and that's great because that makes you just do something every day for 100 days, and even if it's like 5 minutes, and there's no limitations. I mean, there's one like also 30 days of Tailwind, and it has some challenges pre-written, but 100 days of code, it can be whatever you want it to be, and it's just doing something every day for 100 days. And yeah, so it's like, for me, good challenge is like, I don't know, one example, I did a MERN course a couple, like 6 months ago, something like that, because I was like, okay, I want to be more confident with Node and Express and MongoDB, but I'm going to go with React because I know that part. So, and I was React and Redux, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to do the Node Express Mongo part exactly as the course teaches, because I don't know that part and I want to learn it. So maybe I'm going to change some endpoints and stuff like that because I prefer them another way. But for the most part, I'm going to just follow it. But for the Redux part, it's like, okay, I have set up Redux a lot of times, so I know how Redux works. So I'm not going to follow Redux. I'm going to do Redux Saga, which is very similar, but it's different, right? So I'm not going to be following the course exactly as the instructor teaches it. I'm going to do something completely different. I'm just going to set the store different. I'm going to use instead of the middleware, the Thunk, I'm going to use Saga, and I'm going to do some stuff different. So even if I'm doing the same course and I have the same result, I'm going to do something different. And that teaches you like how to take instructions and create a product without having everything done for you like a course does. So yeah, another example that worked for me was, and this is maybe not as relevant anymore, but for me, like a couple of years ago when I was learning React, it was that change of going from class components to functional components, and everyone was like every React course like started with classes and then had a section at the end. Hey, now do it the hooks. So that's what I did. I did my first course of React. I did all that part, everything with classes. Now I learn hooks at the end. Nice. And then I did another React course, and it was the same, classes and hooks. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do this again. I'm gonna get everything that this person teaches with classes, and I'm just gonna create it with hooks. So I'm gonna follow the course. I'm gonna build the same project, but I'm gonna do it with hooks when this person is teaching with classes. So that was a challenge for me. It's like, oh, I have to think about some different stuff, how to make it. And I wasn't following exactly the same way as I was getting the same result, but I was also learning a lot more about hooks, because every time I didn't know how to do something, how do you do component dict mount on hooks? Okay, use effect, but you put so all that stuff. It teaches you a lot, and it teaches you how to Google and how to find stuff that you don't know about. So these are some that I use myself.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's important to get out the most out of a course. So not just watching as a Netflix series, but to understand what you need. For example, it happened to me that, for example, I watched like 2-3 different courses, and then I created something that, for example, that I needed to work or for something else for me. So it's important to understand the concepts behind the course, maybe. Yeah, and then apply to what you need.
Yeah, also it's like, if a course teaches you something and you create an app, and then you're like, we finished the app, and you're like, okay, don't stop there, because just add a new functionality to that app. Because if you already know how it works, you built it yourself, you did the course. Okay, now add something else. What do you think the app needs that doesn't have. Okay, just add it because you already have a project. So it's not the same like you're starting from scratch. You already have the code base.
Yeah.
So just add something new, and that will be a challenge. And also, maybe I mean, most of the courses have Discord channels or communities, and you're like, oh, you can even go there. Hey, I'm trying to add this functionality to the app from the course, and people can help you even. So, but if you go and ask about your own app, maybe people are not gonna help you that much, right? Maybe they will, but the thing is, just trying to add more stuff to courses, to project from courses. It's a really good exercise.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we need to remember that teachers, they need a subject to teach you something. It's like, I don't know, for example, I make an analogy, like for example, if I want to teach you how to draw, I'll show you how to draw, I don't know, an apple. It doesn't mean that you just need to draw apples. I'm just maybe trying to teach you maybe the technique, how you can use the color, and then you can draw, I don't know, a pear or a peach. Yeah, this is I don't know. I just thought about this.
No, yeah, but it's like, okay, if you get a to-do list from a tutorial, okay, go make another project, get the same ideas, and do a shopping list, but that has also ingredients or something like that, and it's gonna be the same idea, but it's gonna be something a little bit more complicated. But for example, the whole CRUD, they create, remove, update, delete. It's gonna be I didn't say it correctly.
Update. Update, delete. Okay.
You know what I mean.
Create, read, update, delete.
Yeah, not remove, read. Yeah, sorry. So that part is gonna be the same if you want to do a shopping list. So, and you can copy, and you can change a little bit, but you're gonna have a base on what you did before and what you need to do now.
Yeah. For example, this is one of my favorite articles. I create like some CRUD API examples. Sometimes I use different examples, of course, but of course you need to understand what you need and what's maybe just it could be useful to understand the concepts, and then you need to apply to your own projects. I have a question, Nacho. Of course, thank you so much for your answers. About side projects, GitHub. What would you like to, for example, which tips can we give to people? Maybe just create your portfolio, so to show something. Yeah. What do you think about that? What is important?
Yeah, I think it's really important to show what you're capable of. And also, you have to understand one thing, like that course that you have completed from Udemy, that it has 600,000 students, and like a lot of those projects are gonna be on many people's portfolios. So when you go and apply to a junior level position with 100 other people, if 20 people had the same projects, you're not gonna stand out. You're gonna be this because most of the people don't even say it, right? It's like, I did this calculator, something simple. Okay, but this other person also did the same calculator with the same styles. And it's like, you're not. So creating your own projects, even if it's like, you're changing the styles, you're adding something else. Okay, you're giving it more personality. That's good. But I think it's important. Because for me, if I want to see, how good a front end this person is, right? Okay, his or her portfolio is gonna be the first thing that I see, and it's like, is this person good? Does this work fast? So if you cannot even do your own portfolio, load fast and be responsive, look nice, how do you make me believe that if you work with me, you're gonna make a different, better job? So you need to be very tidy. Or like, this was very nice. This is responsive. This is modern. This looks great. And then I can go work for your company. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna be very tidy, very modern, very nice. And then just showcasing your best projects. Not having broken links, like having an easy way to contact you in the portfolio. It's important. Like, okay, if you want to have a contact form, I think it's better. But if not, just your email, just your Twitter, and having an easy way for people to contact you, I think that's important. And then you can go about CVs, and I'm not the most expert person on this topic, but yeah, I think for a little bit of CV tips, like, okay, showcase your, always first show the last thing you did first, because at the end is the most relevant thing. Like the thing that you did 10 years ago, it's not that relevant. Just the job that you're working on, or the last thing you learn. Exactly. And yeah, also you need to understand that if you put a page with letters size 8, and it's a lot, and the recruiter has to look through 100 CVs, they're not going to read everything. So just be concise, be clear, and just you have to be. Also, one important thing that I seen people not do is like, okay, if you are applying for a remote position, just say where you're based, because if you don't, it's very hard for the company to see if they can hire you. Like most companies work with third parties to hire worldwide, but maybe those companies don't have they can hire on Central African Republic or Nigeria or something like that. Or maybe they can, but they have to do some different processes. But if you don't know, or if you don't say where you're based, you're making it harder for the company. And it's like, okay, we're gonna go with another candidate that made it easier for us. So just make it as easy as possible for the company to know everything about you, to find your social profiles, to find your GitHub, your LinkedIn, your portfolio, and say where you're based. And yes, so any information that you can give to make it easy for the company, it's gonna make it easy for the company to pick you instead of someone else.
Yeah, great. I like what you said about not broken links, because sometimes the simple tips are the best ones. So it's important. For example, it happened to me that I've been an interviewer. So sometimes if you check a candidate, if you start seeing some broken links, I don't know, broken portfolio, it's not a good way to present, introduce yourself, especially if you're a developer.
Yeah, you go to a portfolio website and you say, you see it's not HTTPS, it's like, and you go, not secure. It's like, okay, this doesn't look good. Or you look at the image and an image is like 3 megabytes and it takes a while to load. And for me, it's fast, but for someone with a worse connection and they're on 3G and they have a slow connection, that 3 megabyte image can be a big chunk of their monthly allowance of internet, right? So it's like, okay, you're costing people money just because you didn't optimize your image. So you have to be very mindful of that.
Yeah. Hi, Hedan. I remember maybe you made a Twitter space some days ago. Just jumped in, Hedan. Yeah, great, Nacho. So this has been really, really great. It has been great for me also to know you a little bit better. I was looking forward for this. Thank you again for joining. I asked you about this, I think, on Monday, something like that. This has been super fast. So thank you also for saving me. So would you like, if you want to drop a question on the comments, so we stay other 5 minutes. In the meanwhile, Nacho, would you like to say something to close this first interview? I hope to collaborate with you soon. But for this episode, how can we close this? What can we say?
So I want to share something. I posted a tweet a couple of days ago, and was like my looking for job tweet. So I was as I said before, I was working for a startup before joining Twitter. When I stopped working at the startup, was when I started being consistent on Twitter, posting stuff. And for me, it was like the best investment I ever did. Like, because when you start doing Twitter, you're posting content for free, and you don't know if you're gonna get followers. But at the end, for me, it was like getting those followers is what gave me the ability to go from working from a local startup in Barcelona to working with a Silicon Valley company, right? Now, and it's a very big difference, right? Especially like quality of life, like the company is capable of salary. So all that stuff, it has been very great for me. And yes, for me it was like, I'm just posting stuff and just helping people. And then from this, they came opportunities. So I got a freelance opportunities for like just people contacting me. Hey, I seen you're working with this and that. Can you help me with something, right? And then when I posted that I was looking for a job, I didn't even know what was going to happen. And the response was crazy. I got like 1,500 likes, 700 retweets, 70 responses, a lot of messages. Yeah. And I realized like how powerful Twitter is, because in the past, like 6-8 months ago, or before getting my second job, I remember let me just send 100 CVs to different companies, and then you get no responses, and it's very annoying. It's like, oh, but you don't know how great of a developer I am. And this happens, and I think this happens with a lot of people, because with the new trend of just learning online, you can be a great developer in 6 months, and it's crazy how good of a developer you can become in 6 months. But from an outside perspective, and a company is like, oh, you've only know coding for 6 months. Yeah, but I'm great in 6 months, and maybe I'm better as someone that has been working for 3 years, because this person has been doing the same thing over and over, and they don't even know about Next.js. That's something very new, or something like that. And the person that has been coding for 6 months has all the knowledge about the new technologies, right? So it's very hard for people to get those to the first step on the door and stuff like that. So for me, being active on Twitter and just sharing what I know, put eyes on me, like, oh, this person knows, right? So when I started getting interviews and interest and job offers from that tweet, these people, most of the people weren't even asking for my CV. So that was crazy for me. Like, instead of just asking, hey, what's your experience? What's your prior experience? What do you know? They just knew, because they knew what I had posted on Twitter before, and they knew I was knowledgeable on React, on Tailwind, on Next.js, on all those topics, right? Before, because I had posted about it, and they didn't even have to see my CV to know it, right? Also, because I had posted on Twitter, that's why I got offered a developer advocate job, which is like, oh, you are a communicator. I know how to write. I know how to communicate stuff, right? So that's why people were like, I have like 4 companies interested in me as a developer advocate, developer relations position, because I knew how to code, I knew how to, and I knew how to communicate and teach people about it, right? So yeah. So what the advice I gave on that Twitter is like, if you are looking for a job, just start sharing what you know and what you are learning. Because some people is like, oh, what can I share if I'm just learning? Okay, just share what you learn, because you as a learner and as a new developer are gonna be more like closer to the struggles than if I teach basic. If I start now to teach basic HTML, I'm not gonna remember what was it like to struggle with basic HTML. Because it's so far to me. But someone that just started was like, oh, it was very hard to me to understand the meta tag. Okay, so now do an article, do a tweet explaining the meta tag, because you're gonna have some other people like struggling on the same topic, right? And then you can document that, and then you can become a better writer, a better communicator. And this, when companies and when you apply to companies and you share your Twitter, you put it on your CV, and people check you out, they're gonna see, oh, this person is sharing a lot of tips, sharing a lot of knowledge. Okay, this person knows their stuff, so it's gonna help you land a better position if you have a blog or you are very consistent with Twitter.
Yeah. Thank you, Nacho. I think what you said is really important, especially what you said about writing articles, even if you're not a super expert, for so many reasons. I don't know if I can list them all. For example, you can switch your mindset to a content creator. You make practice. You can get back at that article 6 months later and read your own article. It will happen for sure.
Anything that you struggle with, that you write about, it becomes content for you. So even if you think about it, just like, oh, I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget about it. And if I ever have to do it again, I just remember it, I just read it again. So instead of just saving that to your own notes, because that's what a lot of people do, just write down and then have it as a resource. Okay, just write about it your own way, because you are the best person to teach yourself.
Exactly.
Because you know you understand stuff, and then you know how to explain it to yourself. So just write it down, and then in 6 months, oh, I don't know how to do this again. I don't remember. Okay, I'm going to check my own article, and that's funny, right? So yeah, just be your own teacher. That's a good advice. Like a whole.
Perfect. Yeah, I can give my 2 cents. For example, I started making Docker tips like maybe 1 year ago. Now I create way longer threads, but sometimes I check my older tips. They were shorter, and based on that, your older content you can improve. That content maybe you created some months ago even. This can also be useful for yourself to create maybe a better, longer content, a video about that. So
just for me, I one example I remember is like I posted about a command about to update all your dependencies on npm with one command, and I don't even remember right now the command, right? But I know if I just search for that tweet, I'm just gonna find it, right? And it's very good because I thought it was very interesting. I discovered it, and it's like I posted about it, and now if I don't remember, I can just go back to it, right? And I think that's very powerful.
For example, what I did, I created a GitHub repository, which is also free and public, and there are the links of my tweets about Docker, about the tips. And I've been there so many times, and for example, also to check them all, even without looking for. So, and they are all free, available for everyone. So
that's
this
great.
is also what I did.
That's a great idea, because this is something I realized that. And that's why I wanted to start blogging very soon, like maybe probably next month, because when I have posted bigger and longer threads, and they go like, oh, maybe I had a thread that got 1,000 likes. It's like, oh, this is great. People share it, people save it, but it's very hard for new people to discover it like months later, right? And this is the bad thing about Twitter, like content gets lost. So that's why I wanted to start blogging and just having that place to just, if someone wants to just go through all my knowledge, it's very easy to do it in a blog post, more than on Twitter that maybe I'm just one day I'm sharing about like content about our tips, but maybe another day I'm talking about something unrelated. So it's harder to navigate it on Twitter compared to a blog.
Yeah, exactly. For example, this is a good habit that I had from the beginning. Then I'll keep adding them. Maybe one day, maybe I'll organize them, and I have other content. So, I have just a last hard question for you, Nacho. When will you start your YouTube channel?
I teased that a couple last week a little bit about this. Because I did I organized the Product Hunt launch for my company. So we launched last week on Product Hunt. We reached 4th today, which was very nice. We got some signups there. But I did a demo video for the product, and so I had to record myself. I had to record my screen. I did a tutorial on how to set up a clerk on Next.js, all that stuff, and it was very fun. And as I told you this before, but I used to do YouTube like years ago. Like I did comedy in Spanish, so very related. But I'm used to the camera. I'm used to recording myself. I'm used to the editing, all that stuff. I know how it works. So I've been meaning to. The thing is, I've been meaning to since I started Twitter. The thing is, I didn't want to spread myself too thin, and that was basically it. So because I read some of the people, like they start with Twitter and they start with blogging and they start with YouTube all at the same time, and then it's very hard to be consistent on all platforms. And then maybe you have a daily job. It's like, okay, it's even harder, right? So I wanted to just be consistent on Twitter, and then when I have my consistency now, when I have my consistency on Twitter and I have a bigger following, now I can jump to do blogs, and then when I have I don't want to be a blogger. I just want to have a place to put my content, like maybe once, even if it's like once blog post a month. And then on YouTube, I think for YouTube you have to be more consistent, maybe like 1 video per week at least. So I didn't want to start and just post a video and then say, okay, I come back next month, right? So if the moment I start YouTube, I want to be consistent with it. So that's why I didn't start it yet. I want to think about ideas. So I want to create and then just have them think about them before, and then so I can work on them. And also I know it's like I'm gonna think of ideas the moment I start posting and stuff like that. But I just didn't want to overwhelm myself. But right now that my job it's a developer advocate. It's important. It's interesting to me. Like if I have a YouTube channel, I can talk about my company. I can promote my company, and that's part of my job. So having the ability to right now have a YouTube channel that it's also part of my job in a way. I think it's giving me the motivation to just do that and be consistent with it. So to answer the question, like when. Sorry, I talk too much. I know that, but it's gonna be.
Well, you're developer probably.
Probably, if I have to give you a date, June or July. That's my. But I don't know. Maybe not, but probably.
Let's see. Okay. Let's see, Nacho. Good luck with that, because I know that it's a bit hard, especially at the beginning. But it gets better. For example, for me now, I'm really enjoying now. At the beginning, these interviews, to be honest, they were a bit stressful for me. Now I'm super relaxed with you. I'm happy to talk with you. To also give the people opportunity to make questions. Yeah. Elusive Code has been super active. I think I like so many things. Yeah. For example, I also started YouTube when I had more than 20,000 followers on Twitter. So I focused on Twitter for 6 months, and this helped me a lot, because now for me it's getting better. It's important to have at least one platform when you are recognized in some
and it
way.
helps, because then you don't start. It's like if you do a video and you get 5 views and you put like 5 hours into it, it's like, I think it's very discouraging. But if you have the ability to just promote that to your Twitter audience or whatever audience you have on other platforms, and you can have at least some views and some feedback from that from the start, I think it's super beneficial. So that was also my plan, just having a little bit of an audience and a little bit of more like settle down. I know now what to post on Twitter. Now I know what to post. I'm not experimenting as much as I was like 3 months ago and on different stuff. I'm just posting. So now that I'm more consistent and more settled down on Twitter, maybe now is when I can start just thinking about other ways of building my audience and on different platforms, right?
Perfect. I think that you will have at least 2 subscribers using code than me for sure. I think way more. But looking forward for this. Thank you for being, let's say, of this first collaboration. I don't want to say the last one, because I'm looking forward to do something together.
Yeah, sure.
Best luck with everything. Yeah, thank you so much.
I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, you too. Bye, everyone. Thanks everyone for coming. Drop hi in the chat. Bye.
Follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description.
Of course. The link is in the description. Sorry, I forgot this, but of course, we have the link in the description. So follow him. You will never regret this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Perfect. Bye, everyone.